Okay, Hilchos Tzedakah, Reish Nun Aleph, Seif Tet. All right, so again, part of the whole recipe of hierarchy. Tet, Hayu lefanenu, aniyim harbe. You have a lot of aniyim in front of you, unfortunately. Ve'ein bekis lefarnes o lechasot o liftot et kulam. If you don't have enough to give money for everyone, to clothe everyone, and to redeem everyone of Pidyon and Shvuyim. Obviously, each category, Pidyon and Shvuyim we're going to see is the top category, but everyone's on the same level. It's just a number of people. So that's what we're dealing with. So for each category, you have a lot of people to choose from, whatever the situation comes. So what's the order of who takes precedence? If everyone's hungry, who do you feed first? If everyone needs clothing, who do you clothe first? And the same with Pidyon. Megdimin hakohen leLevi. So Kohen, we know there's a mitzvah v'kidashto. The Torah gives him a special status. So Kohen comes before a Levi, and certainly those who come later on the list. VehaLevi leYisrael. And the Levi he also has some higher status. So the Levi's second, and takes precedence over a regular Yisrael. Okay, Yisrael lechalal, and the Yisrael takes precedence over a chalal. Right, one of the psulim for that come out of kehuna. Okay, chalal lishtuki. And the halal takes precedence over a shtuki. We don't know who the father is. The shtuki la sufi, and in a fatherless comes before an asufi. You don't know either parent. The asufi la mamzer, but they also take precedence before a mamzer, where the parents come from an illicit relationship. The mamzer la natin, and then mamzer comes before the natin. That's the category of those who come from the givonim. They converted altogether hundreds or thousands of years ago, in time of Moshe, Yeshua, Moshe. It's in the Chumash. Right? Yeshua was there too. Okay, ve'anatin lager. And now this is your modern ger. Ger tzedek is totally a righteous convert, keeps all the mitzvos, but the natin were also. Yeah, I mean, the whole process wasn't 100% kosher and honest, but they're also gerei tzedek at the end of the day, and they have their long-term lineage status as opposed to the fresh ger. V'hager le'eved meshuchrar, and a proper ger tzedek, a regular convert who converts, becomes Jewish, takes upon all the mitzvos, takes precedence over this an Evan Meshuchar. This is also, he's 100% like a Jew now. He's chayiv in all the mitzvos, but he became he was a non-Jew. He converted not to become a regular Jew, converted to become like 2/3 of a Jew, a slave. But he's also chayiv in mitzvot. He's also a Jew. So that's obviously lower. And he has his master to take care of him. But now we're talking about an Eved Meshuchar, so now he's free. And when he becomes free, he's the same status of a Yisrael in most ways, but he does. Right, thank you. An Eved, a Kanani Eved is under the category of, you said, cursed, Aruch, thank you. So, okay, but now he is a Jew. For certain things he does have, he's chayav in all the mitzvahs like a regular Jew. He's not an Eved lahalacha anymore, but that is his background, and that does affect his status in some ways. Like the order of getting tzedakah. Now, when do we say that you look at yichus, basically? I mean, it's more. Some of these things are certain psulim and whatever. But when do we look at this hierarchy? That's if you're equal, b'chokhmah. Let's keep reading. They learn Torah, they keep mitzvos, chule. Aval, im haya mamzer talmid chacham. But if you have this mamzer, he was born as a mamzer, what can he do? But now he's a talmid chacham. He made something out of his life, and he learns, he knows, so he takes precedence over Kohen Gadol Am Haaretz, even if you're the Kohen Gadol, right? The highest Kohen in the land, you still, if he's an Am Haaretz, means he's not so learned. So then so then the Talmid Chacham takes precedence, right? Mamzer Talmid Chacham Kodem. So if you have so then the Mamzer Talmid Chacham takes precedence, because what matters more is what you make of yourself as being a Talmid Chacham. And the Shach just points out, Lav Dafka Mamish Ama Aretz, even if they both learn, but the level of how much they learn, the quality of they learn, the Yoreh Shamayim when they learn doesn't compare, so then that will take precedence, even though they both learn. Yeah, I'll read it. Lav Dafka Amaretz Ela She'eno Shave Bechachma LeYisrael. Haga Va'afilu Chacham lechasot ve'am haaretz lechayot ve'eshet chaver. Sorry. So the first thing is, the Rama says, you have a Chacham who needs clothing and an Am haaretz who's starving. So who takes precedence? Talmid Chacham takes precedence for clothing over a Am haaretz. However, the Shach points out that doesn't apply nowadays. That's like the pure halacha. But Lamaisa, he says, you give it to the starving Am haaretz, because our Talmidei Chachamim nowadays are not the same level of seriousness and bittul zman as they used to be. We give to the starving Am haaretz first. If you think he's going to die, then I'm pretty sure even the pure halacha is Hatzalas Nafashos will come before, and we're going to get to that in a moment. That for sure, if he's starving and he might die, everyone would agree that Hatzalas Nafashos already takes precedence. Let's keep reading. Well, you'll see when we get there. We're going to get there at the end of the Siman. Okay, we finished. Oh, so Eishes Chaver Kechaver. So a wife of the Rebbitzin, a wife also has the same status as her husband. She gets that same level, right? Behind every great man is a greater woman, right? Okay. V'kol hagadol b'chokhma kodem lechavero. And whoever is greater in chokhmah, they come before their friend. Exactly how you define that, we'll leave that open. Ve'im haya echad mehem rabo o aviv, afa b'shiyesham gadol mehem b'chokhmah, rabo o aviv, shehu talmid chacham, kodem lazeh, shehu gadol mimenu. Right, the one giving the charity. So who gets first? His father or his Rebbe? They get first. Even though the Talmid Chacham, if there is another Talmid Chacham who is greater, you still give to your Rebbe and your father first. Yud. Mishaba ve'amar ha'chiluni. Guys, someone comes up to you and says, please give me some food, I'm starving. Ein bodkin acharav. You don't start looking for witnesses, doing a background check. You give him something to eat. Imhu ramai. 1 second. Ein bodkin acharav imhu ramai. Because he might be a crook, a liar, he might really have his coat, you open it up, you shake it, and there's gold coins rolling down. We don't check. Ela ma'achlinato miyad. We give him food right away because we don't want to take a chance that he will perish in starvation. Haya arum. But if he's missing clothing, uba ve'amar kisuni, but if he wants clothing, bodkin acharavim huramai. So generally, you're not going to die on the spot if you're a little cold. So therefore, we check after him before you give him. Okay, maybe a tiny bit you give him. Okay, we'll leave that. But if you know that the guy really doesn't have any money and he really is lacking basic necessities, basic clothing, then you give him right away. Moshe Yasker mentioned that he runs a Tzedakah organization, and when he raised Rav Mordechai Eliyahu Zatzal Paskin, that if someone says, I don't have a heater and it's freezing and I need it, so then it's on the same level of food. You don't ask, you don't do a serious background check to waste time. Obviously, there's a little more time involved. Again, all these cases are general principles, but in general, the psak was you give them food, right? You give them money so they can buy, or you give them the actual unit. Maybe you give them the unit. I don't know. What? They only gave units, right? Because you don't know what people actually do with their money. So whatever. So you give them a unit so that they have a heater. It also depends, on the climate, time of year. Okay. Yud Aleph. Rebbe Shahaya Mitzta'er. Rebbe he felt very bad. Shenatan Pito la'ama aretz. Because there was a time when he gave food to an Amma Aretz. Mishum dahavi shani betzaret. It was years of drought. And whatever he gave to that Amma Aretz, he realized that's going to be lacking for a Talmud Chacham, and they're both starving. Halav hachi chayav lachyoto. Now, if you didn't have two people, then obviously, for sure, you have to give the Amma Aretz. But here, you only had money for food for one. Aval im balafanenu med berav chayav lachyoto. But if someone comes to you starving, and right, they might die due to starvation, so you have to give him right away. Even though you know that if you wait, I don't know, a certain amount of time, not much, and a Talmud Chacham might also, there's a suffix, there might be a Talmud Chacham who's going to need from you also.
Only in case of
suffix. That's what he writes. I don't know if there's a time period, okay? But I guess if you know Vadai and you can get to him in time, but if it's a Safek Talmud Chacham and a Vadai Amma Aretz, so then certainly the Amma Aretz comes first. Okay. Yeah, I think Atzeles Nefashos will come first. Shnei aniyim shechayvim litain tzedakah. You have two aniyim in front of you. You have to give them tzedakah. They both have to give tzedakah. That's their obligation in life, right? Everyone has that obligation. So, but they're both aniyim and they both need tzedakah. So what can they do? Each one can give a portion of money to the other one. Basically, they're trading tzedakah. And since they're both aniyim and they don't have extra, they're yotzei the mitzvah of tzedakah. Yeah, similar to Mishalach Manot, Haga, but there is a caveat to this. A little humorous, but it makes sense. V'davka tzedakah. When can you swap? You can swap tzedakah, but not a knas. Here. If the tzibur, I don't know, the people in charge, the tuvia whatever the government, they given them a knas for a certain reason, and the knas is give the money to the poor people. But the point is they need to lose money to learn from their mistake, to learn from their misbehavior. They're supposed to get a punishment. So in this category, even though they let them give it to tzedakah as opposed to giving it to the authorities or whatever, then they can't just swap the knas to each other, even though they're both poor. Because otherwise there's no knas at all. It made a whole joke out of the whole knas. Okay, next case. Yud Gimel. Tzibor shetzrichim liskor rav ushaliach tzibor. Now, the Beit Knesset, the Tzibor, they need to hire a Rav to teach them halacha, be a posek, encourage them, whatever it is. And they also want a Shaliach Tzibor to be motzi them in tefillah. So the Aruch Shulchan, some of the poskim point out that this halacha doesn't so much apply nowadays because our Shaliach Tzibor, the Shaliach Tzibor that they're talking over here, where it's so important, is a shaliach tzibur. It's a motzi you in the tefillah. You're just going to listen, and now you're not going to say anything. And he's going to do berachas kriyat shema for you. He's going to do the shmona esrei for you, and you're just going to answer amen and be yotzei. So then he's really important. He has to do a good job. He has to help you with kavana. It has to be clear, loud. Okay, but nowadays it's not the same. Again, every case has to be analyzed legufo. how important the Rav is, how important the Shliach Tzibor is, what kind of Rav. Shliach Tzibor still is important. It's still Ma'orer the Tzibor v'chulei. Ve'ein sipek b'yadam litein lishneim. You can't afford both. Im hu Rav. So this is the general rule, at least in those days. Im hu Rav muvak ubaki beharaot ubedinim. If he's like a posek, this Rav is a real rabbi. He doesn't know. It's not just about giving drashos and making you feel good. He helps you in halacha. He teaches you. He tells you what to do. Okay. So then, who kodem? So if you have a real Rav over here, so then he comes first. V'im lav shliach tzibor kodem. But if he's, but otherwise, so then the shliach tzibor comes first. Again, every case has to be analyzed. Okay. Aga. Ve'ein lefarnes harav shava'ir mikishal tzedakah. Now, when you're paying, when it comes time to paying the Rav, so everyone has to chip in, and obviously it's the more wealthy generally give more, but you don't just take it out of the funds from tzedakah. It's a little bit of a ganai. That's not proper kavod. It's a ganai hulo. The gam b'nei ha'ir, and for the b'nei ha'ir, that they're taking it from the tzedakah. Like, that's how you pay them. Now, we had this by, that's not how you pay, support parents. You pay from your own money. It's an honor. Ella yasu sipuk mimakom acher. They should raise money from a different fund, and that'd be more mechubad. Aval. Aval. Kol yachid yuchal ishloach lo mi'atzdaka shalosh shezeu derech kavod. Now you can give from your own meiser, your own tzedakah. But it's coming from you. It's not coming from like a kupa shel tzedakah. It's the part of that's meant for the anim. That's not derech kavod. So that's a question. How you define what the chov is? Here, let's read your dalid. It's a good question. Yecholim l'shanot afilu mital matar letzarech shloshim pshitim lehegamon b'kol shana lefi shehu hatzalat nefashot. So that's just a large amount of money that was common years ago. That in order to the ruler in town would demand a large sum of money from the community, and they had to pay. Otherwise, he would come to town and he would be very scary, and he would. We'll keep reading. We'll see it inside. But you're allowed to take funds that are tzedakah funds designated for Talmud Torah. That's right, one of the higher of the levels of tzedakah, and you're allowed to take it in order to pay off this wicked goy ruler. The fee, because it's of tzalas nafashas. Tzalas nafashas is on the very top. She'ira and pikuach nefesh is on the very top. She'im lo yitpashru imo yesh kama anim she'ein lahem litain. Because if you don't give him, so then he's going to come to town, and if you're not paying from the tzedakah fund, even if it's from Talmud Torah, then he's going to try and collect from everybody. But there's going to be some people who can't afford to pay the portion that he is demanding from everyone. And what's this ruler going to do? V'yakum v'yashitum arumim. And he will beat them and steal whatever they have and leave them naked. And this is hatzalas nefashos. Exactly what it is. It's a bit of a question. It's mamish pikuach nefesh of the body, but it doesn't have to be that. It could even be maybe a spiritual, what it can do to the person, or just getting beaten can also be included in hatzalas nefashos. It could lead to death. I'm not sure if certainly it's a suffix pikuach nefesh mamish, but okay, Leo has a question. How far does it go? How far can you extend hatzalas nefashos to? But it's certainly, it's not only clear. It doesn't have to quite be mamish pikuach nefesh on the spot. But okay, how close is the question? Now, it's just a large sum of money. Yeah, whatever the amount is. The Taz points out, he gets it. He also raises the question. I mean, I don't think we don't need the Rashal, but he quotes it from the Rashal. The question is the end of the first parak in Megillah. It says, "Gedola Talmud Torah yoter mihatzalat nefashot." It's a famous drasha we learned by Mordechai, Ratzei lerovecha, because he got involved in people call politics, but it was mamas hatzalas nefashot. He was saving lives. saving Klal Yisrael. And so the Gemara points out over there that the Taz explains, and this is not just the Taz, it's codified in the halacha. You see what comes first. Hatzalas nefashos takes precedence over Talmud Torah. We see it beferish here. We see that in the Gra. We see that in the Aruch Shulchan, the Chasam Sofer, and I think almost all will clearly agree that whenever you have a choice of Talmud Torah and Hatzalas nefashos or Pikuach Nefesh, it is no question. For sure, you close your book, or you don't even close it. You run and do Hatzalas nefashos, you do Pikuach Nefesh. That is certainly Dochet Talmud Torah. That's not. There's no question, no suffix on that. It's a vaday. It's clear. The Gemara is just telling you that it's a greater schus that a Kadosh Baruch Hu should let you sit and learn in Holy Torah, as opposed to being involved in more physical, mundane, I don't know, mundane maybe not the right word, more physical actions, even Hatzalas nefashos. It's better that you're it's a better schus to be involved in learning than Hatzalas nefashos. But if you're needed for Hatzalas nefashos and otherwise somebody else might is at risk, so then certainly Hatzalas nefashos come first. And the Gra also points out that, one second, did we finish? Yeah. So he just points out, we also see in Tanakh that you give from Kodshe Beit, you could also give from Kodshe Bedek HaBayit to kings. They used to give Bedek HaBayit to kings, non-Jewish kings, in order to save themselves, and certainly from tzedakah.